speaker today is Bruce Titus, Director of Food Services for all of Oakville. I'll turn the mic over to him.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I went ahead, traditionally Community Connections is just me, but since we're a brand new campus and stuff, I want to invite everybody over so you can get to meet everybody that's a part of the dining services. And I've asked each one of them just to talk a little bit about themselves. I've been in Iowa City since 1987, 88 maybe. Worked at Village Inn for about 9 years, and then went over to Carlos O'Kelly's and worked there for 19 years, and then came here from there. Enjoyed Oakville. Loved getting to meet all the residents, working with everybody, and I've got 3 kids, one 21-year-old that I'm kicking out of the basement right now, and 2 28-year-old twins. So, there you go, pass it down.
Well, I know no one here knows me, so I'll let y'all know. My name is Angie. I work at this place called Oakville East. I don't know if you're familiar. It's pretty cool. I've actually only been in the food service industry for about the past 10 years. Before that, I worked in corporate environment, healthcare, those types of benefit companies. I was born and raised in Iowa City, so I'm a native. I did not go to Hoover. I went to Grant Wood. I have 2 kids, and besides all of you, my 3 favorite things about working at Oakville are Harmony, Gus, Stanley, yep. Stanley, Lucy, Scout. I go on to the past.
Hello, I'm Taylor Wheeler. I'm from the Oakville West Campus, so I do assistant dining director over there. I am in control of the SSU, so if some of you guys are over there for short stay, I'll be able to visit with you there, along with the assisted living and the health center, and along with the loft I run as well. I have been in long-term care for 13 years now, so it's kind of all I know. So I enjoy being here with Oakville since November. I came on board. I'm a dog dad. I live just outside of town in the country by West Liberty, and I'm excited to get to meet some of you guys.
He was actually the very first member to ever be interviewed at Oakville, at Oakville East. So he came here, and we interviewed him on a Friday morning
At 6:30 in the morning, down in the rain. There was no grass. I had to pull into the garage, couldn't see anything.
I think we actually had tables in the dining room.
Yes, we had tables in the dining room. That was about it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tim. I help with the front of house supervision. I have been in Iowa City for most of my life, except for a few years where I worked at Disney. Other than that, I've been here all of my life. I've been in food service for roughly 17 years. Yeah, that's about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Philip Wilson. I'm the Oak Kitchen dining lead, so I take care of like the menu and stuff over in the Oak dining room. I've been cooking for about 12 years now. I went to Kirkwood for culinary arts. Then I was a retail chef at the First Avenue Hy-Vee, and then I came to Oakville. And somewhere in between there, I went to New Zealand for about 6 to 8 months, and now I'm back. That was great.
Juan Casco, I'm the executive chef here at Oakville. I've been in food service for 25 years. I moved to Iowa City in 2001, where I came to work at the university. I oversaw the hot food production of catering events. From there, I moved on to Fresh Food Concepts, Jim Mondanero's businesses. So at one point or another, I ran Saloon, Giovanni's, Mickey's. I did a brief stint at the Bread Garden Market, and then at what is now Reunion Brewery for about 7 years. And then I came here to Oakville, and I've been here for about 6 and a half, 7 years.
Hello, my name is Ben Gomez. I'm the sous chef for Oakville, and I was born in California, but give or take. I studied culinary arts in Mexico. I've traveled around Europe for like 2 to 3 months just to get to know about different cookings around the world. I live here with my wife and we have a puppy named Pascal. I'll bring him one day so you can all meet him. I've worked in culinary and dining services since I was 16, but officially since I would say more professionally since I was 22, I'm now 30. So like 10 years. I worked in Mexico in a lot of different restaurants. I mostly managed budgets and making the restaurant run fluidly and not go bankrupt. And then I found myself in Oakville 3 years ago as a cook because my brother studied an internship here and I just fell in love with the city because you have everything you want from a big city but none of the problems. So I would say it's great. So I've been here since then with my wife and I'm happy working in Oakville. It's great because I get to improve all our techniques and we have great judges from all the food that we make.
My name is Lynn. I'm one of the dining room supervisors for the front of house at the West Campus. I've been in Iowa City area most of my life, well, all of my life. Started at Oakville about 8 years ago, maybe 9, as a part-time dishwasher. Became a cook, and now working in the front of house.
Thank you. Alrighty, I'm just gonna kind of go through a few things that it's muted? Oh, it is blinking.
Okay. I thought it was not that quiet, so. There's just some things we're gonna go through. I know when either myself or Angie, or both of us sit down and talk to you, we talked about the catering menu. We still got that available. You can always get it from Angie. It's a great way for any time you're having an event or you're just having friends over. Anything you can get at Hy-Vee, you can get from us. Our baker is really good. She's done a nice job with a lot of different things, and we've really been pleased with her output so far. Did anybody go over the Oakville campus last night? Just 1, 2? So our very first concert series, we're excited. Next week, BF Bert's going to be out here, and it's really interesting. I mean, the guy comes with a lawn chair, and I'm sure a few of you had the guitar when you were in high school that has a box that's like that big. Is that what he had this time again?
Yep.
And he just sits out there and jams away, and he's got such a beautiful voice. So BF Bert next week. We got a total of 3 concerts over here, or is it 4? 3 concerts over here, and we're excited to do that. So, so the one thing I always stress is, I always want people to know that we hear what you have to say, and we always want your input, but then always remember, and this is my best story that I can tell you, always remember, it wasn't even my very first day on the job. I was at orientation, and I got called out to a residence table. And after I got done with orientation, I went out there and talked to him. And one person at the table I knew, and they used to come into Carlos O'Kelly's weekly. And he said, they don't have enough Mexican here. You need to have it a lot more often. And then there's a guy that I've never met. He said, I never want Mexican in this restaurant ever. So that's what people, that's both sides of the story that I hear from residents at Oakville. But we always take that information and we listen and we put it. And the same thing when I always teach my people, if you hear it once, store it. If you hear it twice, somebody's like, hey, that's really spicy. Store that information. You hear it twice or 3 times, maybe there's a trend. Spicy's hard though, because spicy to me versus spicy to Angie is maybe totally different. To me, I don't like spicy food, so it's a little bit. My son loves spicy food, so to him, he throws extra jalapenos on everything. So we're excited to have brunch. Has anybody done brunch at the main campus? So for $14 and I think 10 cents, get brunch. It's got prime rib, Belgian omelet station. It's got always breakfast items. It's got this full salad bar. It's got desserts. It's got pastries. It's a great deal. The price is always off of what you can get in the community. And so the guest pricing is $16.99, which happens to be the price of what you pay at Cedar Ridge Winery and a couple other places. There's a lot of other places a lot more expensive. Blackstone is a little bit more expensive. They don't even have prime rib. So I ate there one day and I was so shocked that they did not have prime rib. What we always try to do is we always try to make a variety of options at different venues. So we got regular pizza over at 3rd on 3rd. We have deep dish pizza over here. People will say to me, why don't you have the regular pizza in the ogre? Well, it's because we want variety and we want to offer you variety so that we have different places to go for different things. So it's not just the same menu. Of course, you always have a burger in every single venue because it's just something you got to have. So that's what we kind of work with. We're in the process of working on a system for online ordering. And what that system is, Jackie got to test it out. It's been a while and we're getting ready to implement that. When that system comes out, you'll be able to go to the Oakno app. You'll be able to click in there and, say you got a doctor's appointment. At 8 o'clock in the morning, you can go ahead and place your order for tonight to either eat in the restaurant or have it delivered to your room, whatever it is you like. Plus, if you're like, why is my account balance all of a sudden shot up? You can go online and you can look, and you'll be like, oh, that's right, I ordered that 4 dozen cookies, and now it's charged me for that. So, something that we are going to be in the process of working on here in the future. The other thing is sales always dictate what we do. What we do is we look at the opportunities of how busy we are or how slow we are and determine what we want to do. So over here, the biggest adjustment we learned was Sunday mornings were not very busy. And we moved that same staffing to Tuesday because we wanted to get an opportunity, and I think that's been a very successful switch. One of the questions some people were asking about was the no added salt option. I'll let Juan talk about no salt added options that are included on the menu right now, and then we'll talk about Oak Smart also.
So we have a number of different blends that are no salt added blends. We have a steak seasoning blend, a Mediterranean blend, and a lemon pepper blend, I believe, here. So anything that you order, burgers are always available, salmon, salmon for your sandwiches, anything on that we cook to order. You can always request the no salt seasoning instead of traditional salt and pepper, and we'll use that for your sandwiches or meats. Obviously, some of our pre-done stuff, chef features wise, that are done ahead, like the French onion pork that we have right now. Obviously, we season that ahead of time. The onions are seasoned, everything's done. So we can't really do no salt on that, but most of the other stuff, our chickens, our shrimps, our salmons, tunas, all of that stuff that we cook to order to assemble your sandwiches, those can all definitely be made salt-free.
So we go ahead.
Like the roasted vegetables and the French fries, all come salted. So can those be cooked without salt?
The vegetables we cook to order and the fries we cook to order, so you can definitely just ask for the no salt or you can ask for the no salt seasoning or just ask no salt, and we won't season them when we send it out.
Okay.
So at the other campus, we tested and we still have it going. It's not going the greatest in the world. It's called an Oak Smart. And what Oak Smart is Oakno's version of Heart Healthy. What it is we went to the dietitian. She told us specifically what we should stay under to meet the guidelines. I don't have my papers in order here. I just printed out before I came because I remembered at the last second. We try to stay below for a complete meal, a certain amount of sodium, a certain amount of fat from carbohydrates, and
Calories, fats, carbohydrates, protein, sodium, and cholesterol.
What's the calorie count, one?
4, what's it supposed to be under?
Yeah.
500, I believe.
One, would you stand up,
Or,
please? Thanks.
It's 500, I believe, for a complete meal with all the sides that it comes with.
Okay.
all the way at the bottom. So calories for a complete meal is below 700 calories, sodium complete meal below 900 milligrams, and fat has to be at least 30% of total, below 30% of total calories. And so that's what we designed. The biggest problem we have is that when we serve it, people say, "Where's my food?" So they look at it and they say, like scallops, it's very popular. And we serve them 2 scallops and they're like, three for the small ones, okay? And they're like, why aren't we getting more? And it's because to meet those guidelines, that's what we gotta do. So it's something that we're willing to consider for over here, so just let us know what you think as we go move forward. Just realize that's what you're gonna run up against. And a lot of people, and then they're like, well, I wanna substitute no. If it's a side of vegetables and fresh fruit, or vegetables and baked potato or sweet potato, whatever we put together, then them add up to below that calories. And so that's where we've been kind of stuck with. We're not stuck with it, it's just what it takes to make that calorie count. So it's something that we're willing to consider. The other thing, I know we've had requests as far as how late you stay open. And it's something we're always going to continue to evaluate, but just know that when we say the restaurant closes at 7, that doesn't mean you have to be done and 8 by 7 o'clock. We're not like, hey, it's 7:01, aren't you done yet? Get out the door. And they're typically here till, they know they're usually here till at least 8, or till 8, sometimes a little later, sometimes a little bit earlier. So no, if you walk in at 6:55, you can get waited on. And I know a couple here that have had that experience. You know, they come in at 6:55 and they get treated that way, and just know that. That's perfectly fine. But that's something that we're willing to evaluate as we go along. Venue hours has been, there's been really 2 hard decisions that we've had going on lately. And one of them was venue hours, and as far as availability, being open, and the price increase of menu items to us. The first one, as far as labor challenges, the newest statistic came out on Sunday that there's 1.5 million people working in the state of Iowa right now. That's 700,000 people less than when COVID started. So 50% of the people, 50% less. So 1.5 million people working now. There was 2.3 million people working when COVID started, and it's just causing a huge challenge. And I just brought a couple quick slides. The first one was one that Steve encountered when he was in South Carolina. He's seen it on 2 different restaurants that he walked into. And it's just not dining service related that's having a problem. Housekeeping is facing the challenges. Maintenance, we actually lost 1 cook because we've had a painting position open for about 1.5 years, and that cook became a painter. And so that helped out the maintenance department. Anybody had a chance to go over to the new restaurant Bumps? So Bumps, as you know, golf courses are busy during the summer, right? They are now closed Monday and Tuesday. And we're updating our summer hours to give our staff time to rest, recharge, and be ready to rock the restaurant when we are open. Meaning they don't have enough staff to operate 7 days a week, so they've decided to close Monday and Tuesday. And so that's been our biggest challenge, is just trying to balance that there with cooks, servers, a little bit of everything. And with, I've got other statistics if anybody's interested, I can send you. 9 out of 10 restaurants are hiring right now. 50% are changed their hours, either did this, or eliminated breakfast, or eliminated lunch, or just eliminated a day, or something like that. So it's a challenge that is, it's unfortunate because it's, I've never seen anything like this. And then the second part of that is price increases. Well, a couple other, does anybody know that Wendy's now closes at 6 o'clock every night? They were closing at 5 and then changed it to 6. The IHOP is also closing at 6 o'clock. Labor shortages. This is a hit home, so I've got to read this one to you. I don't know if anybody knows, but we've had a problem with our fryer over here.
What? Never.
So they're working on getting us a new fryer, and their response was, it's 16 to 17 weeks out to get a new fryer, and that's better than some of the other companies. And the problem is domestically built parts that U.S. factories can't find workers to build. So it comes all the way down to the fryer that we're waiting on. So pricing. Steve Rowe went in to get deli turkey the other day at Fairway. He had one option, and it was $8 a pound. No second or third option like usual. Chicken wings. They used about 13 months ago, they were costing $40 a case to get a case of chicken wings in. They are now $120 a case. The exact same. I don't know how chicken wing places are making it right now. We have chicken wings in our bar, and we figured out what we needed to charge for them. For 10 wings, we needed to raise the price to $17. We decided that that was not a very good economical decision, so we just took it off the menu. Because I think if I'm going to spend $17, I'm going to get a steak or a tenderloin or something better than that. So it's something that we've decided. In fact, this is the other place. I was down in Osage Beach, and it's after we decided that I went to Osage Beach, and here they talk about their market price being, they've seen in prices increases of 250%, and look what they're charging for 10 wings. The exact same price of what we thought we were going to have to charge for, and they're just doing it. So it's a weird challenge, and like when we first heard about chicken wings, it was because of labor at the farm, labor getting the chicken from the farm to the processing plant, people not wanting to work in the processing plant because those workers were treated very badly during COVID, and then getting them, all the transportation to the distributor transportation. Our truck drivers that are delivering our food to our community, they're averaging like 14, 15-hour days, 5 days a week. So everybody is hit by the labor problems right now. So that's the challenges we have going on. We're tackling them head on. So I'm just going to answer a few questions that I got presented with, and then we'll kind of go through them, and then we'll open it up for you guys to ask other questions. Could we have ethnic meals from time to time, Mexican, Asian, that type of thing? We have done that many times at the other location, and it's something we're willing to bring in. Back to my very first story, it's something that we need to know as we're moving on, how many people want that, and kind of get a sense of that, and how many times we want to have that on the menu, or if we want it every single time. So it's something we'll look at. And then we talked about the salt. Somebody suggested we have more options for side, or very bit amount of sides. a vegetable a day. Right now, what are we doing for vegetables? Sides of vegetables. We're doing,
It's usually a mix.
it's a mixed vegetable?
We've got usually our mixed veg, we've usually got green beans, asparagus, gosh, we've got Brussels sprouts right now. We have a lot of different options. Yeah, we've got a lot of options for veg over here.
Mhm. So always just ask, and they can always look and see what that is available to offer. We talked about that and that. Another thing is, you know, the vegetarian options. We always look, we always have vegetarian options. I think we have, counting our 2 administration staff over at Oaknall, we have 6 people at the main campus that are vegetarian, 4 that's in the community, 2 that are residents, and we just like our 2 that are staff. Always get us that information so that way we can start building. We always have vegetarian sandwiches, and we always have vegetarian options for like the concert series. We're always going to do the Beyond Burger. We'll do you remember what you offered me today for the next concert series? There you go. I'm going to quiz him.
So for one of them, we are doing a Chicago-style veggie dog. Another one, we're doing a smoked seitan sandwich. And the third one, portobello fajitas.
So, and you don't have to be vegetarian to get it. We just have those back in the bag, and you just ask for them, and then we grab them and bring them out to you.
And what's that for again?
The concert series in August.
Yeah, so that's the next 3. The next one's in August. The ones, I can't remember what's next week. Next week is here, which is Beyond Burger over here. And then the one after that is across
The
town.
hero sandwich.
The hero sandwich.
And then a vegetable hero sandwich.
So like a vegetable hero sandwich for that one there. So, Angie, you want to talk about, you're doing some experimenting with waters?
Yeah.
You want to talk about those?
Sure. Does anyone think I need this, really? All right.
Let's stand up.
Okay, so I know one of the biggest questions that we get is why do we not have infused water here like they have at Third on Third? Well, because Third on Third has the infused water. So, I know, I'm looking at you when I say it. Barb hates it when I tell her that, but it's true. So that's something that Third on Third offers that the other dining venues don't have. It's about what Bruce talks about in having the variety. The other thing I think that's important to remember is that we don't go through fruit, nor do we order fruit, nor do we have access to the amount of fruit they use at main campus. If we were to order fruit specifically for infused water, we would have to charge you for the infused water, because that would be the only way to do it. So one of the things that a lot of you have sampled are Aqua Frescas. Some of you like them, some of you don't, but that is something that we have available now to kind of change up. And if you think they're too strong, we did some sampling. We can add some sparkling water, some regular water to make them a little bit less sweet, less strong for you. We have iced tea, lemonade, flavored iced tea and flavored lemonade now all available to kind of give you some other options. I know it's not infused water, but it's not going to be infused water here. I'm happy to give you lemons and limes and orange slices in your water, but we leave the infused water to Third on Third.
And then,
What else? I can talk a little bit about the hours. I know that was another question. So everyone in this room that knows me knows I'm a big giant nerd. So I ran some numbers so we can kind of talk about when we're busy and why at this point in time it doesn't seem prudent to extend our hours. Between 6:30 and 7, we only, out of all of the 1,700 dine-in meals that we've had since we opened, thank you, Kay, 5% of them have been at 6:30 or after. So we're just not seeing that many people come and order after 6:30. Most of the diners eat between 5 and 6:30, that's about 67%. We have about 11% that eat between 4 and 5, and then the rest of the percentages kind of relate to Saturdays and lunch and that sort of thing. So it's something that I look at, it's something I provide to Steve, and it's something we'll continue to monitor and see if we need to adjust those timeframes.
And just continue, if you hear other people saying, you know, the other campus had this issue, they're like, we don't like coming in at 6:55. Why don't you just schedule your servers later? And I'm like, well, they already know they're gonna be there till 8 o'clock anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you schedule them to 8, or if you schedule them, if they get out early, then it's a bonus. And we make sure that they know you're not planning anything. And, you know, me and Angie both were from the restaurant business, and that was it. You come in at 6:55, you get seated at 6:55, that's fine. You can place your order once you're ready. And that's what we're gonna continue to live by, and just make sure that that happens. And please give me input back if that's not the case. So.
Yeah, and obviously, if you ever feel like you come in and you're eating late and you're being rushed out, you know that I need to know about that, because that's not how we want you to feel, and that's not how you should be treated.
I'll have Angie take the mic around, and you can start asking questions.
I take bribes. Questions?
You know, in our area, there are several possibilities for getting local vegetables, family to table or table to farm. And I'm wondering what your...
Can you stand up, please?
Yeah, I can stand up. It's a lecture. I can... It's mine. I'm curious what you're doing to help local farmers in terms of bringing in products. I think there's a family to table, is that right, or table to family, that acts as a local wholesaler, stuff like that. Are you able to tap into that?
So I have since about 3-4 years ago, I have been getting local. There's a farmer in Oxford, Northern Ridge Berry Farms. I don't know if anyone's heard of them. I used to always get their product. They have not contacted me yet this summer about any product they might have. I've dealt with Field of Family as well. I haven't been working with them this year. Mainly because of COVID, we tried to limit the amount of deliveries that we got to reduce exposure for you guys. And there is another farmer that I do work with, Abby Hills Farms, and I do get some of her product, but she's a smaller farm, so she doesn't always have a lot. I have gotten maybe 6 deliveries so far this year on local product. And I'm just waiting to hear from others. I do try to buy local when I can. Our lettuce is local. It's from an aquaponic farm in Cedar Falls. So our food purveyors, none of the meat that I get is less than or more than 250 miles from us. So to me, I mean, I consider that somewhat local. Dairy. Some of the milk that I get for main campus, which we bring over here, is from Homestead. So there are a number of local products that we do get.
So like the milk is actually cheaper through Homestead than it is through Hy-Vee or through Robert's Dairy or one of the other dairies. One problem that we also had last year with COVID going on was I or one could not justify, you know, a zucchini that's $5 versus a zucchini that's $3. All that is we eventually got to raise the price to you on that meal, that if it's 50% more just for the zucchini. So that's where it becomes, if it's a little bit, we're willing to spend a little bit more, but if it's a lot more, and we had some things that were a lot more, seemed like last year more than in the past, that just really skyrocketed local, so.
Would that include our organic, is organic produce always more expensive than non-organic?
We presently use no organic.
Because of the cost?
Organic is expensive, and it's way expensive.
Right.
So we use what's called healthy raised, and what healthy raised is a farmer that follows all organic practices, but doesn't spend the $30,000 to have the government come out and certify them. Because of that cost, they pass that on to us, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So we've never, I think we've got an organic maybe a couple times.
A couple of times.
Typically, we just don't because it's just way, way too expensive. But we get in what's considered healthy raised, which works out really well, and they're following the practices. They use no chemicals. So even the aquaponics is not organic. You can be aquaponics and be organic, but it's healthy raised. They use no chemical when they get if they get gnats in their building or whatever. They're a greenhouse, and it's a really good product. So.
Well, I know that, for instance, I participated in a CSA with Oak Hill Acres for many years. They participate in the farmers market as well, and they provide a lot of produce to John's and to the co-op. But you think that's probably too expensive?
Are you familiar with that?
Do you know Oak Hill Acres?
So Abbey Hill Farms, I am familiar with the CSAs because Abbey Hill Farms does that.
But they're not organic.
I don't believe she is organic, but she is small farms like that don't want to invest $30,000 to become certified. But her product has always been good. She's talked to me. She says, I don't use pesticides. I don't use chemicals. But it is more expensive. From her, I do get some of the stuff. Her lettuce is wonderful when she has it. I do get it when she has it, but that is double what I pay for the aquaponic, and even 2.5 times like what I can get from my food purveyor. So this stuff is just a lot more.
Okay, one other cost-related thing. I guess maybe one thing that I've noticed since moving here in March is that meals, more often than not, are a hunk of meat or a fish and some vegetables. And my cooking, and I think maybe a lot of other people's lately, has tended to look on a good meal as a lot more grain and vegetables and meat more as a condiment rather than like the main presentation. Is that ever discussed amongst the staff, or would that even be?
I mean, it's definitely something we could discuss amongst us. I just know I've tried it. We've offered smaller portions in the past of meat, but then they're like, well, this is, you give them 2.5 ounces of meat, and it's half the size of my fist, and then they say, well, where's the meat? If people are willing, and if that's what they want here, I'm willing to give it a try. We can talk about it and come up with some other stuff to do with it, but it is something we have talked about in the past, and we have tried it.
I'm talking more about eliminating a piece of meat by itself and using the meat as a flavoring for the entire meal, like a stew of some sort, soups, salads, beans, small plates.
mean, it's something we can talk about and discuss here.
I'm sure that I'm not the only I'm not the only person who would be willing to do that, but I also know that that's what most generations are more familiar with in terms of having a dinner, is a meat and 2 veg or something like that.
And I mean, you know, most of our chef teachers do come with a starch, a veg, a meat.
Right.
So those are, you know, overall complete meals. As far as variety, I'm always open to suggestions on stuff you guys want to see on there. My phone number is always, you can always leave a message on my phone. Email works as well. But I'm always up for suggestions on what the types of foods you guys want to eat.
Thank you.
So we're in the process of getting, because of COVID, we eliminated comment cards. So if you've never seen comment cards over here, then we're going to start coming real soon. So they'll be at the front. So they will be at the front, and then you'll be able to grab one and fill it out and say, tonight's chef feature lacked, or it was really good because, and then that way we get them feedbacks and that information. So, go ahead.
Do you foresee that Scotty's will be open more days of the week for lunch?
Yeah, right now I don't see that, just because the business on Fridays and Saturdays have not supported that. Again, we're living in a different world today than we were 3 months ago and a year ago. So it's always something that we're looking at to evaluate. Right now, I would say that the business doesn't support it as far as the number of people that we see there on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I am, however, open to talking about maybe Friday doesn't work for everyone, and maybe they'd like to have lunch on Tuesday or Wednesday instead, and I would love feedback on that. You know, we just aren't getting very many folks for lunch. In fact, I think the busiest day we've ever been for lunch was the day you had guests, and it was just me. And y'all had to suffer through that, but that was literally the busiest day we've ever had for lunch, and that was just 14, so.
Thanks for making her work that day.
Yeah, they really did. Anyone else?
I appreciate your statistics, but I also think that this is a startup, and the weather's really nice. And maybe we need to look at winter hours, as people are less reluctant to go off campus.
Yeah, and I think that I don't disagree with the fact that we need to continue to monitor that time frame. I know, I don't even see them in here, but I know Saturday, when I was leaving, some folks were out front. I think, Jamie, were you guys having s'mores or something? There was a bunch of you out front, and some grandchildren playing with the dogs in the dog park, and I'm like, I just really want to stay and hang out. I feel like I'm leaving early, but it was about 8 or 8:30. So I do recognize that summer is, you know, the hours, but until I think we see a bigger, well, no, summer hours maybe would need to be different than winter until we maybe see that in our actual numbers. But we'll keep monitoring that, and that's information I'm happy to provide. Bruce, did you have anything to add?
It was mentioned earlier that dealing with an Oxford farmer, you had not heard from them at this point. So do you not reach out to them? You just wait for them to contact you?
So it's been on my to-do list to reach out to him. I haven't had a chance, staffing-wise, covering a lot of running back and forth. Not that I'm trying to use that as an excuse, but
You need a secretary.
I need a secretary. But it is on my list of things to reach out to him, because A, just to make sure they're okay, because I haven't heard from him, but it is on my list. It's not that I just don't wait for them. I do plan on reaching out to him at some point.
Thank you.
Yep.
Plus, he's afraid that I'm gonna cut him off because it's too expensive.
I'm behind you right here. I'm right here.
I don't say this to be braggadocious, but about 10 years ago, my doctor told me I had to lose 100 pounds to get the surgery. But anyway, I had it, and I had to exercise with it, but I have been extremely happy to the staff and to you for the food and everything. I have no obstacle, no problems with it. And Barbara introduced me to a little plastic box. Take home with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Over on the other side. The other thing there's a couple things that we're working on. We typically do a wine dinner. We'll probably do one here, and we will do one over at the other campus that you're invited to too. And we're going to utilize the, what's it called, Angie?
I don't know, I wasn't.
Across the activities room? No, the puzzle room?
Oh, the lounge.
The lounge, we got the cooking opportunity there where Juan or one of the others can sit there and demonstrate how to cut a salmon, how to sear it, how to chili crust it, all those types of things. And that'd be something that we'll definitely be doing. But also wine dinners. Last year, we were in the process of hooking up with the bourbon company. Templeton Rye. We're going to do a Templeton Rye dinner, and we had started the initial process, and that got canned because of COVID. So, and that, COVID's been a huge part of a lot of things. I mean, you guys moved in here in the middle of it and went through a lot. I mean, the very first dinner that we had here, we had a lot of people here, and then we said, sorry, no one can come except the people that live here. And so it was, it's constantly changing and evolving, and it's been a year of change, that's for sure. Every single week was something different, so.
And I think also in terms of having those dinners, we have to rely on Templeton, we have to rely on our wine vendors to do that. And right now, we're getting here at Oakland East, it's taking them, when we're supposed to get our deliveries on Wednesday, we don't get them until Friday, maybe sometimes the next Tuesday. Because our orders are smaller, we're at the end of the line. So they're so stretched for staff that, those things might not happen as soon as we want them to, or we're ready for them to, because we have to wait until the companies can do that too.
Yeah, we've got a brand that's called Free Wine, F-R-E, which means that there's no alcohol in it.
None of you drink it.
Somebody sent me a link to free gin. That's ridiculous. Nobody wants gin with no liquor in it. But anyway,
Nobody wants gin, period.
I do. So we can't even get that right now, the white version of the free wine. It's just, again, it's this environment that we live in. We're not for sure really what's going on and how it's going to correct itself. We're really hoping, Taylor's a big advocate of this, he really thinks, I'm going to hold him to it, that when the college kids come back into town, they're going to be ready to work, and then we're going to have a hiring spell. So that's what we're hoping for. And we got a $10, I should say, a bottle of gin. Bet on that. Okay. No, absolutely not. That's right.
Yeah, Angela probably know what this is about, but I would like more gluten-free options. For example, I mean, we're supposed to have gluten-free pasta here all the time, but we don't. I mean, you'll say, you have gluten-free pasta tonight, and you're gonna know. And on sandwiches, I never have them, because as far as I know, we don't have gluten-free buns.
We have gluten-free buns, we have gluten-free pasta,
Well,
we
then
have
I'm glad I talked.
gluten-free pizza crust. All of that the menu should say that, but yeah, we have all of those options for you at any time. Gluten-free buns, we always have gluten-free pasta. I heard that, and I gave the staff a quiz on it the other day, and I asked each of them.
So
and I
why would it be that I would order pasta and they'd say we don't have any?
You should never get that response. So, It should never be a response you get.
Then I
Yep.
just missed it.
Yep.
So I'm
No.
sorry. Great.
We're happy to take care of
If you were told that, then that's something that we'll definitely work on, and we'll make sure that the answer comes correct.
Yep.
And make sure that it's here for
I'm
you.
really happy she had it, that's great.
That's good, that's where we want to, that's where we want to be, because if we're advertising it, we got it. And it's great to know that we got somebody over here, so it's not just bringing it over here. And if there's other people that have dietary restrictions, we want to know that, so that way we know what we need to bring over here for you to have for you. Like gluten-free, you know. It's pretty easy to go ahead and get a case of gluten-free bread and buns. And pasta.
Have you considered sending out a survey to the residents here at East, asking specifically, you know, what do you like, what don't you like, what would you like to see more of, what would you like to see less of, you know, specific requests that you might want to consider? I don't think that's been done, but I think it might be a way for, you know, there's not a lot of people here today that everybody can have an opportunity more anonymously to state their preferences.
Yeah, so Steve and I actually, that's one of the projects that we're working on. I know that one was sent out before move-in, so last summer, last fall. And so those answers were what we used to base a lot of things on when we opened, what alcohol we purchased, what our hours were, what kind of food we were gonna, you know, be centric about. And so we are on it. Okay?
And so another question that was asked that I did not answer was about appetizers. We had the appetizer menu available when we first started. We wanted to try it. We had tried it years ago over at the regular campus and had no luck, but that doesn't mean that we can't try it here. And we did, and it was a rounding success of we're not interested in appetizers. And the reason I say that is because the number of orders that we got that physically got rung in and sold. I know a lot of people like the, what was it? Was it the crab cakes or something?
There's my little table.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people, I know people love the hummus that we did at one of the test dinners. They loved it, and they said it was awesome. We sold 5 after that. We sold crab cakes, I'm sorry, we sold 3 hummuses. Sorry, I missed that. Crab cakes was by far the best, and this was, what's the time frame on this?
So what, we stopped doing that in May?
Sorry guys, about 3 months?
Yeah.
So 3 months of crab cakes at 38. So you take 3 months times 4 weeks, that's 20. So we sold 2 orders of crab cakes per week. Focaccia, 14 mac and cheese bites. I know a lot of people said that they really liked those. We sold 13 of those over the course of that. It was 3 months. So those were, to us, it was like, you know, I just don't think this is what people are interested in.
Well, but I think this is where a survey would help, you know, maybe those particular appetizers weren't what people were thinking of as far as appetizers. So maybe you can learn more about what we do want.
Absolutely. Got a question in front?
How many more people will we have when we're at capacity? With the capacity?
How many more people?
Yeah, what will our capacity be in terms of dining?
And I think that always affects a lot of what we do in the future, and it's never going to be the same. If the next 15 people that move in are vegetarians, guess what? We're at a lot more vegetarian options. You know, if the next 15 people are, you know, it affects the menu and what they like and what they do. Steve, what's the magic number you think with, when we're completely sold out, how many people do you think we're going to be here? That was the question. So somewhere in the 90s range, and we're at what right now? So another 40% more, so that 40% can make a big difference.
And so will that make us more competitive in terms of getting orders when they're placed, or like Angie was saying, we're kind of down?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
so it's the same thing over at Oaknell. at the Oakville campus, we have 360, and we're still on the bottom of the list.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that one helps. Now, the good news is with our food distributor, we've got a great relationship with them, and we're at the top of their list because they want our business. So that helps out a lot there. So as far as food, we've got a great relationship, and that's awesome. So that works out really good for that. There's something else I was going to say too. You know, another example is, you know, we've traditionally, at Oakville, we have football Saturdays, and we show it on the big screen over there. And that's the type of thing that I think Angie wants to know. You know, she doesn't want to set up a screen for a football game and 2 people come up and watch it. You know, so that would be the type of things people would be interested in knowing. It's a great time if you want to come across campus. We usually put 90 to 120 people in there, and you don't have to eat. We always have tailgate food, and you can come over and meet with your friends. And it's actually really easy to get from there to, I don't know about to here, but I can get to the east side of Iowa City. Because I park there, go to the game. The hardest problem I have is walking back. Because once I get to Oakland Street, I turn left. I head down Benton Street. I'm pretty much the east side of Iowa City. Watching everybody else backed up, trying to get out of town the other direction. So. Anything else? Pretty easy. Please feel comfortable to reach out to Angie, myself, Juan, anybody on the dining staff. Like, you know, if you do have a slip and fall, you'll meet Tyler over there, Taylor, whatever his name is. I'm just waiting for that gin. Yeah. So just let us know what you're thinking and what's going on and what you're looking for. The survey will definitely help with that too.
This is not my idea. Jamie had it, and I thought, wonderful. We have a dinner in that library.
In the
What do you call the library?
The lounge library.
yeah, you bet. Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's what the plaque on the wall says. I didn't name it that, I promise.
Yeah, it's a great setup, and the stove we've got is a commercial stove that's bigger with exhaust, and it's got that thing so people can stand there and you don't have to worry about one burning other people. Maybe.
Depends how I feel on a certain day.
Thanks a lot. We greatly appreciate you coming today. Go grab the last couple of